Ryan, let's start easy this week. There's one movie opening. I don't care how many are actually opening. There's one movie opening this week. It's one people have been waiting for a while.
Maybe decades.
Maybe decades. Parts of the movie they've been waiting for decades. So we'll have to see.
The team up, at least.
The team up that we've been waiting for. The real team up we've been waiting for. Yes.
Yes.
And that movie, of course.
I'm not going to talk about that other movie.
No. But anyway. That movie, of course, is Deadpool and Wolverine. It is Marvel's first bite at the R-rated apple. Kevin Feige seems excited by it.
Particularly he after the opening night, I'm sure he is.
I don't know how. We'll talk about this. Look,
okay.
There's a million. This is the disclaimer for everybody listening. If you haven't heard of that there are a bajillion cameos, there's a bajillion cameos.
Well, but also I think, but I will say this: they're not like there's. Well, I think there's. I can think of one that's like a cameo, like you see it and then it's gone, sort of thing. Most of these characters are actually they play.
They have at least one good scene.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean they aren't just there for cameo sake. They actually serve a purpose in the story. And
yeah, so let's talk about that. So we're not going to list all of the cameos.
Heavens no.
Because it would take too long. But B, look,
my favorite was spoiled in the last trailer, but I'm happy because I didn't see the last trailer.
If we'll talk, now everyone knows X-23.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, we'll talk about
anyway.
it. So anyway, we're not going to go out of our way, but as we talk, you're going to hear cameos. I apologize for that, but there's literally no way to talk about this movie without talking about what Ryan Reynolds has done here. Cool.
Sure.
So that's what we're gonna do. So we're not going to shy away from this. So the basic plot here is that at the end of Deadpool 2, Deadpool goes back and fixes a bunch of crap in the timeline, up to and including that other movie we won't talk about.
Yeah.
But he cannot come back to. He is in Earth 616. Yes. He exists in the Marvel sacred timeline because he is in Earth 616. But he's not anything. But he wants to be something more, so he tries to get into the Avengers, which leads to a wonderful extended cameo scene with Happy Hogan.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
As the pre-screening interviewer for Tony Stark and the Avengers. This takes place in 2018.
Yeah.
So he does not get into the Avengers. And so he goes on a downward spiral.
I don't know. Maybe he refocuses.
He refocuses. Well, here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand, and maybe I missed it because there was a lot going on.
Oh, there's tons going on. Yeah.
At the beginning, he is so then after that, he is on Earth 10,005 because that is where he is plucked from.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he went from 616 to 1/005, but that's where he winds up. He's not with Vanessa, although they're friendly acquaintances. But all of the key players are there: Colossus, Blind Al, Yukio, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Dopinder is there. Notably, Weasel's not. Shatterstar is there from Deadpool 2 because he's not dead.
Yeah.
And Peter is there.
Peter is important.
Peter's important. He's important to Deadpool, and he's important. So Wade is trying to make a life for himself as a car salesman at a thinly veiled CarMax ripoff.
Correct.
Drive Max, I believe. He's a terrible salesman, just FYI. But he works with Peter.
He is how you would think, Wade Wilson would be.
He is exactly as good a car salesman as you would expect Wade Wilson to be. And then he goes home and it's his birthday. And there's a surprise birthday party waiting for him, which is interrupted by TVA agents who want to send him to the void because he is not of 1-555 and has caused all kinds of problems in the timeline through his various time hopping adventures using Cable's device.
Yes, clear. Which is, hey, if you're Deadpool, you're going to get in trouble for someone gave you a toy.
Yes, you're going to play with it.
You're going to play with it. Eventually going to get.
So but turns out they don't want to send him to the void. He's being recruited by Mr. Paradox, who's not nearly as cool as Morbius. And so we get our first crossover into Loki, which is great. The fourth wall breaking abounds all the way through, even more so, I think, than in the other films. Because the entire opening sequence, again, is a start in a fight and then go back to how did we get here, and then we learn all of his past. He's desecrating a grave to open the film. And a corpse.
Well, yes, very much. He desecrates the corpse.
Yes.
I do like the fact that they just come out and universally Logan is viewed as if not the finest, one of the finest comic book inspired films has ever been made.
If Marty Scorsese was going to call any comic book movie cinema,
it probably would be
Logan. And that's what you need to say about it.
Yes, I would think that if he sat down with Logan, he might actually, I hadn't really thought about this, but he might have a different point of view.
He might.
Because Logan is, it's that good.
It is that good.
And it's literally one of my favorite movies of all time. But also one that I can't go on the emotional journey. You got to watch it once a year.
Right.
It's an exhausting film.
At Easter.
Yeah, sure.
So the reason he's desecrating Logan's grave
is to basically say, hey, look, nothing's off limits here. All right, you got that? Okay.
Well, here's the other thing that the more I think about this, they spend a great deal of time in this film maligning the idea of the multiverse.
Yes.
Culminating in an actual discussion about how the multiverse is done.
Yes.
And needs to stop. So that's an interesting thing, and I wonder where we're going to go with that. But the other key element to this that kind of plays into that, and I literally just made this connection. Logan also takes place in Earth 616, which means that it's the sacred timeline. And we learn that because Logan is dead, over the next 1,000 or so years, he is what they call him, the key entity.
Yeah, he's the guy that establishes and keeps that universe.
Yes.
Or that timeline or whatever.
Timeline, right. So over the next 1,000 years, this Earth 616 timeline is just going to decay and die. And Deadpool is recruited to help accelerate that, so the guy that's charged with overseeing it doesn't have to wait 1,000 years to get another assignment, and to kind of change the way the TVA does things. So, Wade had to have traveled to the future to desecrate Logan's grave, because Logan takes place in the 2040s, 2060s,
something
like this. It's a ways away from 2018. Which is fine. So he did that from the TVA. But it's interesting that they say that the prime timeline is going to wither and die. Again, that's just another dig. And they dig at Marvel hard. I mean, and it's caustic. It is nasty. It is sometimes downright mean.
But it's rarely uncalled for.
And it is correct. It is rarely uncalled for and never incorrect. Yeah. That's the amazing part. That's why I don't understand how unless Kevin Feige supports this, because by the end of the film, we may take a turn.
Well, and I think,
which we've discussed in the past, they have to.
Yes. Yes, they have to. Well, for casting reasons, all sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
Well, I would even see, there is a reason why in comic books that things get reset.
Yeah.
Every so often. Sometimes it's because you've exhausted a great storyline.
Yep.
Sometimes it's because you've run into a storyline that just doesn't work and you don't know what to do, so you have to go back and start over.
You got to blow it up. Yep.
Yeah.
So the rest of the film, again, that's it. That's our beat for beat breakdown as far as we're going to go.
Sure.
The rest of this is Deadpool trying to find another Wolverine.
Yeah.
To bring back to Earth 616 and replace it as the key entity, and thus save his timeline and all of the people that he loves.
Yes. Which look, we need to point something out that often gets overlooked about the Deadpool films. There's actually a heart and a purpose to the movies. That there's vulgarity and a lot of that and whatnot, but first one's a love story.
Second one's a family story.
Second one's about finding your family. It's probably a better family story than any of the Furious films. Anyway, and so this film is essentially, it's a redemption film for one character, and I finally appreciate what I have. I got to get back to it for the other.
So that's the remainder of the film, and so we're traveling around. He's trying to get back to the TVA, or he stole a time pad from the TVA. He's jumping around trying to find another Deadpool or another Wolverine.
Yeah.
He finds many.
Well, and the thing is he has to find one that's going to at least consider going along with it.
Right. Most don't.
No.
And we see many actual Wolverine variants from the comics, and we see one special one that we're not going to name because I don't want to.
Oh, that one. Okay.
That one. The perfect. Oh my God! Fans everywhere. Yada yada.
Well,
even Deadpool.
And it's the one that you go, oh, they're really going for this.
Yeah.
Like it's. Not that you didn't think before, but once you have that particular cameo, it's like, oh, it's. I don't want to call it inside baseball, but it's kind of inside baseball.
It's kind of inside baseball. So, but he eventually finds one, but there's an issue, and so they're trying to get back so that they can help that Wolverine with issues in his timeline, which shall remain nameless at this point.
Well, we'll just say that they label him the worst
Wolverine. Yes,
Wolverine.
And so they want to fix that.
This is so essentially the only one that will help him is the one that probably can't help himself.
Right. And then, of course, we do get to they get back to the TVA and they do get sent to the Void, where they meet multitudinous other cameo players. Lots of them. One, Deadpool thinks he knows until he doesn't.
Yes.
Which I saw it coming. I actually found that bit hilarious.
Well, I was like, I didn't know which way they were going to go, because I knew that they could go either way, and actually that's kind of what was fun.
Yeah.
It was, and had it happened later in the film, it would have been obvious.
Right.
But because of where it happens, there's at least an element of, oh, okay, that's what we're doing.
Right.
And anyway.
So that's interesting. We meet. It's no secret that we meet Cassandra Nova.
Yes. Xavier's
unborn twin sister, who exists only as an idea in his mind. In the prime timeline, which means, of course, in other timelines she did exist, and she wound up in the Void, where she has set herself as an auntie figure If you're to continue Deadpool's many Mad Max parallels.
Yes. Yes. And they go all in on this one.
Yeah, they do. And we meet again. There's two. At this point, we've seen Deadpool and Wolverine fight
each other
once. They will fight again.
Well, of course they do.
Say what?
Of course they do.
So they do fight again, because there's the one before Logan winds up fighting. I'll say it, Sabretooth, which is another fight people have wanted to see. But Deadpool and him will fight again. But then they get taken in by Cassandra Nova. Yeah. There are many other cameos there that you will see, some of whom you will know and some of whom you won't. They escape.
Some of them you might not figure out for a little while.
You might figure out for a while. That's right.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
They escape, where they meet a Deadpool variant. Nice pool.
Baby.
And then they procure transportation from Nice Pool and Dog Pool. Yeah, that dog. They get transportation. Yeah. They fight again. And while they're both recovering from said fight, they are found by yet another person who takes them to some place where when they wake up, they are treated. they are met by 4 more variants.
Which did you know what part of that I was freaking out about, right?
Yeah. Again, X-23.
Yeah. Did you? Anyway,
I had unfortunately heard that they spoiled that cameo.
See, and I had no idea.
So but my favorite one, aside from how good Jennifer Garner still looked as Elektra, and I don't just mean the outfit. I mean being an action type person.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed her in Peppermint. So
sure, no. Well, you got to remember she started out as an action.
Yeah, Alias. So,
I mean, that was.
But again, she still brought it, and looked good doing it.
And arguably better than the movie she was doing.
So there was a nice Daredevil dig too in that exchange, which most people probably went, "Ooh, sick burn." But no, my favorite cameo there.
Was it the other guy?
It would not Raymond LeBeau. It would not him. It would the other guy.
Okay.
And especially that one line. And again, which is a dig at Marvel, not unwarranted, and probably at this point not untrue.
Yeah, well,
and I'm not going to say the line because it's fucking fabulous.
Yeah, we'll let him say it.
Yes, but it is a line that when you hear it, if you know, you're just like, that's kind of an inside baseball one. That really kind of is an inside baseball one.
Well,
but if you know, you're kind of like, ooh, they went there.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, it's kind of funny, it's kind of mean, and it's all true. Well, it's about 90% true.
Yeah.
So
it's a little sad too.
And it is actually a little sad considering who they have on tap.
Yeah. It's a little sad.
But they can't get it there. That's the crazy thing. So it's nuts. So the movie goes on, and there's more fighting, and they find things. They save the universe. They save all the timelines.
Yeah,
which is really kind of on par with what Loki did at the end of season 3.
Well, I think there is a lot of Loki's the jumping off point.
Yeah.
If you not that you have to have seen Loki, but I think it helps.
It does. It helps a little bit.
You get to understand some of the politics at play and things.
Yeah. But so we get to the end of that, and that's where we get, and of course it ends with again, as most Deadpool films do, with a nice warm-hearted reunion type thing.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to season 9 of the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. If you like what you're seeing and hearing, please feel free to like us, share us, follow us wherever you're listening to us, actually. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. That would be great. Go to the website at vsmoviepodcast.com, and that will give you links to all of our socials. It'll give you write-ups of stuff that's not audio, but you'll get pretty much everything there. So if you like what you're seeing and hearing, Make sure you share it with everyone else. Now let's get back to the show. Here's where I stand on this.
Yeah.
This has probably the least connected story of the three. I think there are great bits in here. There are great ideas in here. There are great segments in here. There are some cool characters, both recalled and new. But I don't think that the film is as good a movie as the previous two.
Well, I've literally told people, worst of the films, but probably my favorite.
Well, because it is fun for most of it. But
I would say, just for me, I think they did exactly what they intended to do.
Right.
And whether or not people like that or not, whether or not that, is that the best version of Deadpool? No, I don't know. But there was stuff in this film. Hugh Jackman gets to act.
Yes, he does.
There's some stuff in there where you're like, whoa.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I went through this movie and I just hated it. I'm just like I said, there's good stuff in this movie.
Well, and I think for me, what I was, the best comparison I can make is when we saw The Flash, and you put Keaton's Batman in it.
Yeah.
That film, I didn't want the film that it was. I wanted it to be a Batman movie.
Right.
So my fear going into this, being the Wolverine fan that I am, is that the moment Wolverine gets on screen, I don't want it to be a Deadpool movie.
You want it to be a Wolverine movie, yeah.
I want it to be a Wolverine movie. But that didn't happen because this is balanced.
I was going to say, because there are times when it is a Wolverine story.
Yes. But, yeah. So to me, this is how, there's a lot of, actually, if you watch The Flash and you watch this, there is quite a bit of, cameo, crazy stuff, and this just did it better.
Yeah.
In almost every regard. So the fact that they pulled off what they pulled off,
Here's what I'm wondering about this movie. Again, it long delayed because of the buyout.
Yeah.
He had to fight to keep it rated R. And my wonder is whether he believes deep in his heart that Disney didn't have a choice but to give him one more because of the fan base.
Well,
but that would likely be it for an R-rated maybe not the last appearance of Deadpool.
Yeah.
But the last real Deadpool movie. And so we talk a lot about movies where they're just like, they get to the point where someone should ask, should we do this? Should we say this? And either everyone says no and they don't do it, or nobody says anything, or nobody bothers to ask that question.
Yeah.
And they just do it anyway. So literally, if you watch this film, you can see that question was not asked a lot.
No, or if it was, they made a decision at some point that we're just going to go for it.
Because we might not get another shot. But again, especially the multitudinous and nearly unceasing blows at Marvel and Disney were just astounding to me. And it's like, that's not Disney and Marvel laughing at themselves. Because like I said, a lot of that was kind of mean. Again, not untrue at all, but just downright mean to put in a movie with their name on it. And it's just like, like I said, I think he knew it was going to be the last one, or he believed it might be the last one. So he said, if it is, it's going to be Deadpool doing Deadpool in light of all this. And just not bothering to. So it might be, in a way, the most Deadpool movie of the three.
Yeah, well,
in terms of that.
Sure, and to a certain extent, if Deadpool told the story, it'd probably be pretty incoherent.
Right.
Hey, wait, tell me about your day. That's not going to go, Yeah. Anyway.
But I mean, he's always been fourth wall and vulgar. But when it's about sex or violence or this or that or the other thing, this was about real world stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that in that way, it's very much different. From the other two films. So, like I said, I liked the bravery of it. I think that's astounding. If that movie was made, or if a movie like this was made under an A24 banner and they went after Disney, or if some smaller label put out a movie where they just did impart the same opinion that Deadpool does throughout this film, Disney would probably sue them for defamation.
Maybe,
but they can't because it's in house. So it's just, it's a very weird dynamic. And again, the story overall is very disjointed, multiverse aside. Well, but like I said, there's some good scenes in here. That the scene at the campfire with Wolverine and X-23. That's a great scene. Yeah. There's good stuff. The fight scenes are great, as always. Peter showing up, phenomenal. Oh my God, nobody will see that coming. I mean, you see it coming right when it happens, and you're like, wait, and then all of a sudden you're just like, which makes me wonder who the key entity of any particular timeline is.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I thought that was neat. I don't like Dogpool.
You don't?
I don't like Dogpool. That dog is. They could have gotten just a pug and gone Pugpool, but that dog is atrociously ugly.
Oh, they had to do that.
That dog
it
is
had
just.
To be that dog.
I mean, I get it. It's because it mirrors Deadpool.
It had to be that dog.
Hey, and fun fact: not all Deadpools have healing factors.
No,
as we learned.
No.
Which was interesting. But like I said, in terms of cameos and Marvel Easter eggs, because there are many, it's nearly as jam-packed, dare I say, as Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. It is slightly more coherent than that.
Yeah.
But it is chock-a-block full of Marvel ephemera, which is the word I used to describe The Rise of Skywalker. It was just J.J. Abrams stuffed every bit of Star Wars ephemera he could into Rise of Skywalker, and hoping it would plaster over all the holes. Deadpool's got him in here not to fill holes, not to cover stuff, but because it makes sense with what he's doing. But they do not stop. They do not stop. They are stuffing 10 pounds of ephemera in a 5-pound bag. Sure. So, it's interesting. So I don't know how. Yes, you're going to enjoy it, but not because it's a good film, but because of what's in it. I don't know how that makes sense.
And that's why I say it can be my favorite of the series and the worst of the three.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, it's again, it is possible to enjoy a film that is flawed, and heaven knows I've enjoyed my share of films that are flawed.
Countless.
Ditto. Yeah. So, and it's kind of funny because most of the reviews have been fairly positive.
Yes.
But there have been a few that are very, very, very critical. And the irony is, it's like, well, you're kind of right. But.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Are you grading on the film, or are you grading on your enjoyment thereof? Because they are two separate things. Because Citizen Kane is objectively a great film that some people do not enjoy.
Correct.
Neither one of those is wrong.
Yeah.
Schindler's List, great movie. Some people can't enjoy it. Saving Private Ryan, great movie. Some people can't enjoy it. They just can't. So, but pick one.
Sure.
Or be clear about what you're grading on.
Sure.
And I believe we've both been clear here. It's not a great film, but fun.
Yeah, you're not gonna teach a course around this film. In fact, this film it shouldn't work. And it may not work for people who don't have a connection to these characters. I mean, I can't imagine anyone walking blind into this film.
No.
Like I don't even know how that would work. If you didn't know, I mean, let's say you'd never seen a superhero film and this is the first one you see.
You would be lost.
You would be so like, what have I walked into?
Yep.
I don't I mean, it's because, does it make sense? Well, only, and it's not that you couldn't enjoy it, but I mean, to a certain degree, it's such a bizarre film in that regard.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's almost like an element of Brazil in here.
Sure.
Which again, great film. Most people can't enjoy it.
If Brazil was the first science fiction film you've seen,
right? Yeah, especially if it would be the first one of those, or the first Gilliam.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be just like, "What did I walk into?"
Yeah. So this is a tough nut to crack in terms of talking about. But again, if you're not going in blind, if you're going in for all of the stuff that you know is going to happen, whether you know the particulars of it, you're going to enjoy it. Yeah. Objectively, not a great film, but you're going to enjoy all of those little, especially the hunt for Wolverine.
Sure,
that's a fun sequence. Especially the classic brown and tan. Hey, didn't you fight the Hulk in that one? Yeah. So that's a great bit. A lot of great bits. Yeah. But like I said, a lot of it is directed outward from the film as opposed to inward, at like the previous two movies have been. So, even when he would make pop culture references, you could see them happening in his world. Except, this is like an extension of what Fox couldn't spring for a couple of X-Men.
Yeah.
This whole movie is one of those.
Yeah.
So that was it totally ramped up from the last film. But yeah, it's interesting. It's not unenjoyable at all. I don't dislike the film at all. But I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, I mean, it would be kids. Don't write screenplays based off of this.
No. If this had been the first Deadpool, it never would have got. I mean, it wouldn't have gotten made even with the leak footage.
Yeah.
Well, it might have if the leak footage was those two fighting in a van.
Sure.
So maybe that would have gotten it made, but that's it. They never would have gotten to that point if this had been the first film. So it's interesting. I love there were a couple of there was a Welcome to Wrexham reference because there was a Wrexham pool. And I love. Did you like the Ted Lasso homage?
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
I was watching. I was like, Ted Lasso. So I was wondering if it was because there's some crossover between Wrexham and Ted Lasso. And I was wondering if that was intentional or just a happy happenstance. So interesting. However, I can safely report, and I will spoil this: Taylor Swift is not in this movie as Dazzler. She's on the soundtrack. That's all you get. So happy about that. It comes out today last night. It opened last night.
Does not mean that she won't be Dazzler.
No, who knows what's going to happen going forward because now we don't know.
Just thought I'd just say that. Throw that in.
Yeah.
Just so you don't feel too happy.
Right. So I'll have that demon just lurking over my shoulder waiting.
Want to just rub that in a little bit.
Yeah, right. Opened yesterday. It's going to make a bunch of money. I don't care what else opened this weekend. Nothing else is opening this weekend.
So opening night, $38 million.
Oh my God. Well, to be fair,
highest opening night for an R-rated film, beating Deadpool 2 by it doubled it basically.
Well, you know, because it had Deadpool and Wolverine, so it had to double it.
And it did.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Jeff Whipple at Megaplex Theaters. He got me into a screening last night up here in Ogden, and the Ogden Megaplex had at least 4 screens playing Deadpool and Wolverine. So yes, it's going to make money, and mine was basically full.
So the question is, so what they're talking is they were expecting 160
for the weekend,
and they think, but suddenly now they're like, okay, we don't even know because we are in uncharted territory, because R-rated films aren't supposed to make this amount of money.
But here's the other thing. We've talked about this before, why like recent Marvel movies haven't done the money that the early Marvel movies made. And it's not because no one's watching them, although the audience numbers are down generally, even on opening weekends. It's that the rewatchability factor has gone down.
Yeah, that's part of it.
You didn't make $3 billion on Endgame from 3 million people. You made it from you made it from 6 million people seeing it 3, 4, 5, 10 times.
Yes.
So, and the later movies didn't. People watched it once and they were like, and they were done. So it got the money that they deserved. Those other movies had rewatchability. This movie has rewatchability because you can go through and catch the stuff So I look for people. You're going to see stories of people that watch this movie 10 times this weekend.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
160, probably pretty easy. Is it going to be north of 200? Possibly.
No one knows.
Nobody knows. But again, the rewatchability is there. And that's going to drive those numbers. And so if it does, I promise you that is word of mouth, obviously, but that is also guys catching it 3, 4, 5 times.
Well, and I think we've mentioned it before, is anticipation.
Yes.
You have to, if you're gonna make these films, the audience needs to want to see what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Part of the reason why this is going to do well is because we've had to wait.
Yep.
A few years.
Yep.
And they didn't give it to us instantly.
No.
And so I think it's going back to what is an event film. This is an event film.
Yeah.
This is I don't know how else to put it.
Well, this isn't like this quarter's Phase 5 Marvel movie.
No, this is
Infinity War. This is Endgame. This is the Avengers. Yeah. Even though there were a bunch of movies stacked behind the Avengers or in front of the Avengers, they drove this movie. They drove that movie, the Avengers.
Yeah, they were building
and made that an event movie, regardless of what the timing was. The subject matter of that film was the event. In this one, you have the subject matter, Deadpool and Wolverine. You have the weight for that desired film. So there's a couple of factors going on here that are going to drive this, and it's going to drive it hard. Which sounds dirty, but it's not.
And actually, it's funny you say that. The film, while incredibly dirty at times, is not incredibly dirty throughout. In fact, I expected it to be much worse.
Yeah. There is no sex humor here.
Oh no!
But it is not Deadpool 1.
No, and some of it. But it's. I guess I was somewhat okay. Let's just. We all know that. Deadpool wanted to be with Wolverine for a very long time.
Yeah.
Can we make a story that acknowledges that but does not dwell on that? And I think they did.
Yeah. So that there you go. That is Deadpool and Wolverine with as few spoilers as we can manage, because you can't talk about this movie. There's something to spoil probably in every other frame, really. So, and every scene has got at least one surprise in it.
Yeah. But you got to see it for yourself.
But you have to see it for yourself, and then you'll probably go see it again to say, what else did I miss? So I did love, I will spoil this because I didn't catch it when it pulled up early, but I did catch it when it was driving later, was the Fantastic Four bathtub car.
Yeah.
Oh my, I saw it and I literally laughed out loud in the theater.
Yeah.
And nobody else did. And I'm like, y'all don't know.
But, well, there's a, yeah. And to be clear, there's a lot of stuff in this film that if you don't get, that's fine.
Yeah.
It really is okay. You know, I think there's some jokes and inside stuff, and you know, if you don't get it, you don't get it. That's fine. It doesn't really.
No, that stuff doesn't detract. If it matters, they explain it to you. That's the key. Deadpool they love to explain. Exposition abounds. So if you need to know, they'll tell you. And if you feel like you missed a joke, you probably did, but it doesn't matter. So don't feel like you missed the joke, because you didn't miss something critical to watching what the story ostensibly is going forward. So Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters now. I had heard that the IMAX. Did you guys see it? Okay, so you saw it Monday.
Yeah, I saw it on IMAX.
But I was in the middle where I was coming home from my week and a half long road trip with the Mini Cooper people. So I did not get to see it Monday. So again, thanks to Jeff for hooking me up with tickets last night. Did you see it in IMAX?
Yes.
I had heard, and one of our fellow critics in the Utah Film Critics Association said that the sound mix was messed up.
It was.
Was it really? So do you think that's an IMAX issue or your screening issue?
I don't know.
So you don't need to see it in IMAX anyway, I don't think.
I don't know. I mean, there were some sound level issues, and if that was, you know, so I don't know. So
anyone that goes and sees it in IMAX and has a good sound experience or a bad sound experience, let us know, because sometimes your theater can just be off.
Yeah, and I don't know which it was.
Well, yeah. So, or you know, the movie can be wrong. That happens a lot.
Well, and they can also, it's a digital file. They could, you know, there's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So we'll see. So let us know. Let us know about IMAX if you've used stuff in IMAX, how that works for you. I have to write my review of this, and I will do that, and I'll have that up the next day. But you've got this to play with right now. But yeah, so Deadpool Wolverine in theaters now. Don't forget to like us and follow us on social media. All the links to our social medias can be found on our website, vsmoviepodcast.com. Ryan, you have just started and soft launched your website.
I have a little website.
If you would like, you can tell people what it is, or you can wait till a future episode when you're a little more comfortable with how it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're kind of in the process. I'm going through some transitional phase in my employment, as happens with many people, and so I've kind of when I first started, and you wouldn't know this, but this is kind of the story behind why it's called what it is. When I first started writing, I wrote for Slug magazine, and Angela Brown, who is the editor, was kind enough to invite me on board, and soon after I was given kind of it was a monthly column, basically a full page. I could write whatever I wanted, which is outrageous,
right?
But they let me do whatever I wanted, and it was called Glitter, Gutter, and Trash, because it was mostly music that would kind of fall under that. Over time, it lost the and just became Glitter, Gutter, Trash.
Yep.
And so that's what the website is right now. Glitter, Gutter, Trash. We'll see what we're going to do with it. But yeah, it's there if you want to look at it. It's sort of a working resume of sorts. He's saying, look, this is what I could do for you if you want it. So it's a little eclectic and it's a little all over the place on purpose.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I am kind of all over the place.
Eclectic and all over the place. That's you.
Yeah, that's me. Anyway, so yeah, that's around. If you guys want to check it out, we're gonna, we'll see what happens. I wanted to do more this week, but medical things got in the way. I'm getting old, folks. It's happening. I don't like to talk about it, but I'm getting old. That said, I'm fine. But Anyway, there will be more up there. So there'll be games. There will be lots of stuff. And we'll see. And quite honestly, if I do get landed somewhere else, I think the website will live on because I'm not going to get approved to do everything I want to do at that. Whoever hires me, I can guarantee that. So there will still be stuff that
stuff that has to go there.
Well, yeah, and it's. I kind of don't know why I didn't think of it earlier, but there's when you're working for someone, they're going to dictate a lot of what you can and can't do.
Yep.
And so inevitably, there are a few things that you would like to do that you're just not allowed.
Yep.
That's what editors are for, I guess. That and other things, but anyway. So yeah, there's the Glitter Gutter Trash is up. We'll be adding to it. I talked to Angela at Slug. They are kind of digitizing everything from the old issues and whatnot. So as that happens, we will link to some Slug stuff from the early aughts.
Nice.
So you can kind of see where
the Glitter Gutter Trash Slug archive.
Yes. So it was funny because she was like, "Is it okay if you you?" And I'm like, "I'm not ashamed of any of that stuff because that's the stuff that I learned on." Right. You believed in me, and you just basically said, "Do your thing." And so there's mostly music stuff, but there's interviews with artists and things too, and kind of where it all started.
Yep.
And so it's the Wayback Machine, time travel.
Yes, set the Wayback Machine. Yes, Sherman, set the Wayback Machine.
Yes. But so we're going to do that, and I might mirror some stuff over still on the Visually Stunning because, quite frankly, the readership is larger than
for now
site at the moment. So it may always be.
We shall see.
Anyway.
Yes, but you can find us there. I will link to Glitter Gutter Trash on the website as well. Go to vsmoviepodcast.com. That's where all those links will be. And be good. Stay safe out there. It's warm. Stay hydrated. Don't work too hard out in the sun.
Go see a movie.
Go see a movie. I've heard they have air conditioning in theaters.
Yeah, you buy a movie, you get free air conditioning. It's revolutionary.
It's amazing. Next up, Smell-O-Vision. Which is probably the next step to get people back in theaters.
Well, and Deadpool would probably do a really good job of that.
Actually, probably they would, yeah. So
and it probably would be a horrible experience.
Yep. So yeah, that's it. Go check Ryan's site out, glitterguttertrash.com. Like I said, follow us, do all that good stuff. Let us know how we're doing. And again, if you watch the movie in IMAX and you have an opinion about the IMAX screening, especially if you wind up seeing it not in IMAX and can compare the two for us, that would be lovely. Would love to hear that. Because I'm always interested in the differences in the formats.
Well, not the worst audio mix I've ever heard. But there were a handful of lines.
There you go.
That were just kind of
Tom Hardy.
Well, if it was a Nolan film,
then yeah,
I wouldn't have thought anything.
There you go. Let us know if the IMAX is Nolanized or not. That's what we'll call it. It's Nolanized. So yeah, that's it. Take it easy. Stay safe. Be good. And until next time, I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Bye, Ryan.